Hi, my name is Sam J. Gold. I'm a puppeteer and a theater teaching artist, and today we are going to explore how puppeteers can give life to everyday objects through an activity that I like to call Put Some Arms on It. Now, this is part of the Kennedy Center Education's online collection, Teaching Artists Present, in which teaching artists from across the country share arts activities that you can enjoy from the comfort of your own home. Are you ready? Let's get started. One of my favorite things about being a puppeteer is that with a little imagination, just about anything can be a puppet. It's true. Today, I'm going to show you how we can combine stuff lying around our homes with everyday craft materials to create an original rod puppet character. Now to start, we're going to have to go on an object hunt. So follow me, if you will, to my kitchen, where I'll show you what I mean. Welcome to my kitchen, which is chock full of interesting objects. Now, we are on the hunt for something that is light and small enough to hold comfortably in one hand, but also large enough that it stands out as a puppet body and head. Something like this soy sauce bottle. Like this pan. Or you know what? Yeah. I think this is going to be my object. This is a spatula, and as you can see, it even already has like a bit of a face built into it. Okay, I'm going to work with this spatula, and in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to pause this video and go on an object hunt around your home. You could start in the kitchen, start in the living room, look wherever you want. The key is to find something that is small and light enough to hold in one hand, and also large enough to stand out as a puppet body and head. Oh, and make sure you get permission from a grown-up before you borrow it. Once you found your object, press play to see what other little materials we're gonna need. See you soon. How did the search go? There are so many interesting objects out there. I bet you found something awesome for your puppet. Now that we do have our object, it's time to put some arms on it, which means we're going to need some simple craft materials, including a piece of paper, could be any color, construction line, whatever you got lying around. We're going to need 2 pencils or other long, thin sticks, like chopsticks. We're going to need a pair of scissors, a little bit of tape, and something to write with. So if you're already using pencils, you're set. Now, if you need a moment to collect some of these things, that is totally okay. Pause the video one last time, and then come on back to see how we're going to combine things like these into something like this. Pause. Welcome back. Here are all of my materials. I'm going to start by folding my paper in half. This will allow me to cut out both mittens at once. Now it's time to draw the mittens. I know I said you can use a pencil here. It totally works. I'm using a pen to make sure that you can see my drawing really clear. Now I'm pausing here to measure out 2 finger width. I want to make sure that my arms are about 2 fingers wide. So once I saw that, I can keep going. I draw them all the way to the end of the paper. Notice that my mittens are about 1/4 of the page and my arms are about 3/4. We want our arms nice and long. Now we're ready to cut. And just like that, we have 2 arms and mittens. Now I'm going to grab my puppet. And this is my chance to decide where I want the shoulders for my character to be. They could be up really high, they could be nice and low. I'm going to stick in the middle because I think it's a great place to tape. So I flip my puppet over, and I'm going to start by just taping one arm to the puppet. I like to use multiple pieces of tape here to make sure it's nice and snug. Little test, and now it's time to tape the other side, just like the first. Once that's set, you can flip it over. Now I'm putting my pencils in the very center of the palm of my puppet's hands. I like to tape these pointy side up. That way I don't worry about the pencil ever poking my hand, but you can do it either way you want. I'm going to use 2 pieces of tape here at least to make sure this pencil is nice and secure to the inside of my puppet's palm. Once that's there, it's time to switch and do the other side. My puppet has 2 rods, 2 mittens, 2 arms, nice and secure on the back. You can check your own puppet at this point and lay it out on the table because, congratulations, you have a puppet. Okay, the time has come to put our hands on our puppet, which is actually kind of hard because I only have 2 hands and this thing has like 3 different places I'm supposed to hold, and this is what puppeteers sometimes call the 3-arm problem. It would be really nice to have a 3rd hand here when I'm performing all on my own so that everything could get its own separate attention, but I don't. So there are a few tricks that I'm going to share with you now to make things a little bit easier. First, let's hold their center rod with 1 hand. Then let's take one of our arm rods and grip it with that same hand, almost like you're holding a bouquet. See, it's nice and firm. This is great. This arm and this body, they're not going anywhere, which frees up my second hand to do all sorts of different things, like waving, or wiping the sweat from my brow, or scratching my head, or even just gesturing a lot while I'm talking. This is a great place to start, and we can do it together. Let's wave. Let's wipe the sweat, scratch the head, and then gesture a lot while we're talking. Now, once you get comfortable with this, you can start to experiment with how you're holding this rod and this center stick in 1 hand. So for example, if I can, it's great to grip this arm rod with not the full hand, because now I have a little bit of mobility. So I can clap. I can kind of dance a little bit more if I want to. And most of all, I can start swapping arms. So I can bring my right arm in, grab the center rod, and then I'm free with my other hand to do other things. Let's try that together. Arm goes in, right hand grabs, left arm out, left arm in, grabs, right arm out. Now, there is no right way to do this. I'm most comfortable putting this other left rod into my pinky, but I've seen people who hold multiple fingers. I've seen all sorts of different ways to do this. What's most important is for you to practice, 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 so that you can find what works for you. But notice that I am keeping my arms very relaxed. Nothing is being held really tightly because that allows me to breathe and do all sorts of different things. I mean, this is a repetitive motion like any other. The more you practice, the more comfortable it gets. Let's try one last thing. I'm now going to take both arms into 1 hand. So I'm still holding on here with 1 arm, and I'm holding both arms with my other. Now notice how these are also very loose, just barely holding on to these. This is a great configuration for running. It's a great configuration for reaching out or for hiding your eyes. And it's my favorite configuration for dancing. So let's try a little routine here where we're going to combine all of this together. We're going to run on and off. Then we're going to run back, stop, look at the camera, and then wave. Now we'll do a little dance. Dun, 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 dun. But actually, dancing makes us tired, so we're going to wipe the sweat off our brow, wave one more time, and then exit. Now, did you count all the different times that my fingers exchanged arms just in that little routine? It adds up really quickly. The trick is to start slowly, just mastering the gestures and the routine. Once you get more comfortable, you can always speed up or add a flourish. But there's a golden rule in puppetry that I would like to share with you right this moment. Instead of doing everything so-so, try to do a few things amazing. It's going to take you pretty far. Whew, we covered a lot today, but I still wonder, what else can you do? Well, when you're playing with your puppet, you might want to start thinking about how it moves. Sometimes I ask myself questions like, is this a character that makes big gestures or lots of little ones? Is this a character that moves fast or slowly? Is this a character that moves with weight? Boom, boom. Or lightness. All of these different little movement choices are going to tell your audience a whole lot about who your puppet is. And it all starts with play, discovery, and practice. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you'll keep practicing. But when you do put your puppet down, go on and check out some of the other videos in the Kennedy Center Teaching Artists Presents collection. They're all pretty cool. Thanks a lot, and go put on a show.